Okay, so today's prophetic word is going to be a clearing and full restoration. A clearing and full restoration. Hey, ananayase. Okay, ananayase. So a brief disclaimer. Hey, ananayase. This prophetic word is going to be very, very sensitive. Ananayase. It's going to be like a very touchy and sensitive topic. Hey, as it pertains to our feelings and our emotions. Hey. Another disclaimer is Akaye. I just would like to put a reminder that, hey, I am directly connected with this word. Hey, this is something that I've experienced, I'm experiencing, and I know what it feels like. Hey, no, I say so. I'm going to tread as light as possible. Hey, this is not a word, this is a word of exposure, for those who has been opposing you, but this is not a airing out of your personal business, because like I said, I've been through it myself, so if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can put me in the driver's seat, because like I said, I have experiences, okay, so we're going to get right into the word. So today we're going to be coming from Esther chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 10. So first I'll set it up for you. What's going on here is that King Osiris is the king at the time. And he's his wife is Queen Vashti. Queen Vashti. So what happens is at the feast, the king calls for the queen and she refuses to come. She refuses to come to the king at his command. Now, at this time, in biblical times and terms, the king is to be respected, revered. Any request or command or anything, when the king calls, you come. His every order you are to obey. But she doesn't obey. So she is disobedient. So we're going to get into, because she was obedient, what does that mean? What does that look like? And what does it, and what happens? Also, afterwards, I'll be giving revelation, about a personal revelation that God gave me that's going on with someone at this time. I say, and God is here to answer you and to bring understanding, thank you, clarity, and revelation. I say, because God does not want you to be confused. Okay, so we're going to start so first I'll read scripture. That's where we are right now. So I'm going to start at Esther chapter 1, verse 10. And it says, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Miriam, Bezda, Harbana, Bigatha, and Abatha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 Enoches who served in the presence of King Osiris, to bring Queen Vashti before the king with her royal crown, in order to show the peoples and the princes her beauty, for she was lovely to look at. So in short, the king has 7 men. They are called 7 Enoches. And it named the names of the men. So the king calls these 7 men, and he orders them to go get Vashti. Now the thing is, I said, the reason why the king wanted the men, the Enoches, to go get Queen Vashti, it says to bring Queen Vashti before the king with her royal crown, in order to show the peoples and the princes her beauty, for she was lovely to look at. So the reason why the king was calling for the queen was because she was beautiful. She was beautiful to look at. He wanted to show her off. He was trying to show off his trophy. He was trying to show off what he had. Like, y'all, look at my wife, look at my queen. Okay, so to bring Queen Vashti before the king with her royal crown, in order to show the peoples and the princes her beauty, for she was lovely to look at. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, delivered by the Enochites. Hey, so what happens is when the Enochites goes to get Queen Vashti, hey, she refused to come. She says no. No. Hey, a total disregard and disrespect for her king. Hey, okay. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, delivered by the Enochites. At this, the king became enraged. Hey, so now the Enochites that went back over here, Aka, and told King Osiris, Queen Vashti said she ain't coming. So now the king is enraged. Okay, so his first emotion is enraged, Aka, but we have to think, Aka, he was enraged. Why? Because he was embarrassed. No, I say he was embarrassed. She embarrassed him in front of everybody. No, I say. Okay. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command, delivered by the Enochites. At this, the king became enraged, and his anger burned within him. Then the king said to the wise men who knew the times. Pause. So now he's talking to the men that's around him at the time. Okay, so the king calls for Queen Vashti. She doesn't come. They come back and tell the king. Queen Vashti says she's not coming. Now he's enraged. And now he is talking to the wise men of wisdom who are sitting around him. He upset. Hey, he's enraged. And now he's talking to them about what has happened. Hey, okay. Then the king, Esther chapter 1, verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men who knew the times, for this was the king's procedure toward all who were versed in law and judgment. Hey, so now he's talking to the wise men. Okay, so now, the king got his queen, on trial. On trial. This is not funny. Let me stop laughing. So now she's being brought into judgment. Okay. Then the king said to the wise men who knew the times, for this was the king's procedure toward all who were versed in law and judgment. The men next to him being Karshina, Shethar, Adamah, Tarish, Maris, Mycena, and Mechamum, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, who saw the king's face and sat first in the kingdom. Hey, so now the king is sitting among all of the officials and those who are versed in, who are wise in law and judgment, his workmen, those who he worked with. Hey, and it says that they saw the look on the king's face. So they saw that the king was enraged. This was openly shown. Hey. Okay. Who saw the king's face and sat first in the kingdom. Esther chapter 1, verse 15. So this is the king speaking. This is King Osiris speaking after Vashti refuses to come. Hey, Esther chapter 1, verse 15. According to the law, what is to be done to Queen Vashti? Because she has not performed the command of King Osiris, delivered by the Enochites. Hey. So now Queen Vashti is on trial because she has broken the law. Hey, she has broken the law. And I say she has refused the commandment of the king. So now she is on trial and she is soon to be judged. And I say, so he's asking those who are around him, hey, who he worked with, what is to be done to her? Hey, what is to be done to Queen Vashti because she has not performed the command of King Osiris delivered by the Enochites? Esther chapter 1, verse 16. Then Mechamum said, in the presence of the king and the officials, pause. So this is one of the wise men. Hey, then Mechamum said, in the presence of the king and the officials, pause, in the presence of everybody that was there. Hey, all the wise men. Then Mechamum said, in the presence of the king and the officials, not only against the king has Queen Vashti done wrong, but also against all the officials and all the peoples who are in all the provinces of King Osiris. Pause. Hey, so not only was as a queen, not only was Queen Vashti's behavior embarrassing to the king, but it was an embarrassment to everybody, to all the officials, to all the wise men, to all those in royalty. I said to be a king or a queen, you are arrayed in royalty. You are acquainted with royalty. I say so. Her shameful behavior has brought shame, on everybody, especially the king. I said. It says, then Malcolm said in the presence of the king and the officials, not only against the king has Queen Vashti done wrong, but also against all the officials and all the peoples who are in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For the queen's behavior will be made known to all women, causing them to look at their husbands with contempt, since they will say, King Ahasuerus commanded Queen Vashti to be brought before him, and she did not come. This very day, the noble women of Persia and Media who have heard of the queen's behavior will say the same to all the king's officials, and there will be contempt and wrath and plenty. So now the wise men are discussing the behavior of Queen Vashti. And they are explaining that her behavior, the way she's displaying herself is such an embarrassment, and she's not carrying herself rightfully, and she has everyone looking at her, all the other women. So if she's not going what her husband calls her, and if she is not obeying her husband, they are afraid that she's going to be a bad influence on all the other women, and they're going to start behaving the same way towards their husbands. So that's what's being discussed. I see. So in Esther chapter 1 verse 18, this very day the noble women of Persia and Media who have heard of the queen's behavior will say the same to all the king's officials, and there will be contempt and wrath and plenty. Paul. So they like, if we let her get away with this, all the women gonna be out of control. And they gotta say, okay, we picking back up. Esther chapter 1 verse 19. If it please the king, let a royal order go out from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, so that it may not be repealed, that Vashti is never again to come before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal position to another who is better than she. So listen. Queen Vashti is on trial, and now she is to be judged. You know what I say? Now she has been judged, and now they are suggesting, king, if this pleases you, this is what we think you should do. This is what we've came up with as the wise men on the council that's sitting here with you. This is what we've decided. If it pleases you, if you think this is a good idea, this is what we think you should do. Esther chapter 1 verse 19. If it please the king, let a royal order, listen, pause. A royal order, when a king signs a royal order, it cannot be reversed. It cannot be revoked. Once he write it, it's set in stone. Oh Lord. Once he sends out a royal order, a royal decree, it is so. Oh Lord, in the name of Jesus. If it please the king, let a royal order go out from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, so that it may not be repealed, that Vashti is never again to come before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal position to another who is better than she. So not only are they suggesting that she is never to come before the king again, but also give her position to another, someone who is better than she. All right. And let the king give her royal position to another who is better than she. So when the decree made by the king is proclaimed throughout all his kingdom, for it is vast, all women will give honor to their husbands, high and low alike. Pause. So they was like, hey, this is what we think you should do to Vashti, Akaye. And this is why, Akaye. Because of her behavior and what she did, Akaye, and how she showed out, Akaye. She got to have consequences for her actions. Hey, to show all the other women in the kingdom, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. Hey, so they were making an example out of Queen Vashti and her disobedience. Okay, I say. Esther chapter 1 verse 20. So when the decree made by the king is proclaimed throughout all his kingdom, for it is vast, all women alike will give honor to their husbands, high and low alike. Okay, pause. When all these other women see what happened to Vashti for her disobedience and her disrespecting the king, hey, everybody else is going to be in compliance. They're going to already know, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. Hey, so I'm going to respect my king. Okay, I'm going to come when he say come. Hey, and I'm going to listen. Okay. Esther chapter 1 verse 21. Okay, and it says, this advice pleased the king and the princes, and the king did as Mechaman proposed. Hey, so now we are at that the king thought their suggestion was a good one. This idea pleased him. You know what? I think that's a good idea. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Hey, okay, so let's pick up. Esther chapter 1 verse 21. This advice pleased the king and the princes, and the king did as Mechaman proposed. He sent letters to all the royal provinces, to every province in its own script, and to every people in its own language, that every man be master in his own household. That every man be master in his own household, and speak according to the language of his people. Okay, I see. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I see. Okay, so this is Esther chapter 2, verse 1. After these things, when the anger of King Cyrus had abated, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what had been decreed against her. Then the king's young men who attended him said, let beautiful young virgins be sought out for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom to gather all the beautiful young virgins to the harem and Susa the citadel, under custody of Haggai, the king's eunuch, who is in charge of the women. Let their cosmetics be given them, and let the young woman who pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti. This pleased the king, and he did so. Hey, okay, so right now, okay, we are going to stop right there. Okay, so I'm going to explain what happens. Okay, the king calls for his queen, Queen Vashti. She refuses to come, and the kingdom and the king is, the whole kingdom is in an uproar. Hey, I said she got everybody riled up. Okay, so now the queen has been put on trial, and she's now being judged. Okay, now in short, she's kicked out. She's going to be kicked out of the kingdom, and she's going to be replaced. Okay, she is being dethroned, dismantled. Okay, you will no longer be queen. Okay, you will no longer be queen. Okay, she's being thrown down. Okay, there is a snatching away of her mantle, a snatching away of her gift, a snatching away, okay, of her royalty. Why? Disobedience. Okay. Okay, so now she's going to be replaced. Okay, so now the king has sent out the men, okay, the men of the kingdom, to go and search for young virgins. I say women of virtue. Okay, I say to be sought out. Okay, so that he can now he gotta start all the way back at point. He was already married. Okay, but now he gotta start all the way over, and he has to start from square one. Hey, now just imagine as an individual when you've built a kingdom with someone. Hey, how this made the king feel. Okay, so now he has to revert all the way back to square one, and now he's looking for a new queen, basically. Okay, someone who is better than Vashti to replace Vashti, aka because of her behavior, aka. Okay, so now, aka, we are going to get into the revelation of what God has given me to say on today. I see. All right. So the revelation of today is there is now about to be a clearing and full restoration. Hey, so the first half of the word, a clearing is a removing. Hey, and then so though there's going to be a clearing, aka, I say God is saying that there's also going to be full restoration. When he removes what doesn't supposed to be there, what isn't supposed to be there, when he clear all of that out, when he get rid of all of toxicity and debris and residue, then you will be restored. He's going to give you what you do need, what's good for you, what is healthy for you. Okay. Now I'm going to make a part 2, but it'll be strictly on what God is saying, and he's going to give a very descriptive explanation so that you can understand better. So I'll do a part 2.